Hello, my name is Kate Goddard Rorba. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Poltava, Ukraine between the years of 1993 and 1995. A memory, I have many wonderful memories. Some of my favorite folks that I worked with were my colleagues. One of them was Valentini Ivanivna, and she was a wonderful Russian woman, and she always had red lipstick, and she always wore leopard prints and high heels, and she was fabulous. I loved her, as I loved many of the people that I got to know when I was there. Thank you.
My name is Donna Winkleman. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Ukraine from 1996 to 98. And I just have to add this. And we lived with a family for 3 months, and Vitaly was the youngest member of that family.
Okay, I already got introduced. My name is Vitaly. Actually I've met Donna and Tom in, was it 96? Yes. Yes, in 96, and they lived for 2 months with our family, and we then enjoyed knowing them for 12 years now, I guess.
More?
We didn't see each other for 12 years,
Yes.
but we known each other for 14 years.
Yes.
Now, actually, you know, the interesting thing that I feel with Tom and Donna, I feel that like they are part of our family, yeah? Like distant, so we don't meet for a long time. But you know, we got so close during this time together, and they are such nice people that we couldn't just let them, you know, go forever.
My name is Tom Easthope. I am the husband of Donna Winkleman, and I too went to Ukraine in '96 and happened upon a wonderful family whose youngest children, have 2 children, Tanya and Vitaly, and they both spoke English. That saved our lives because at the age that we volunteered, it is extremely difficult to learn a new language. And so we struggled with it, but with the help of Vitaly and his sister, we were able to navigate the intricacies of Ukrainian family living.
My name is Janice McInerney. I served in Ukraine 2002 to 2004. I was in the city of Chernihiv.
Okay.
I was terrified upon arrival. I had never been out of the country before I did Peace Corps, so when I arrived I thought, what on earth have I done? I am now here so far away for 2+ years, but I stuck it out, and I really felt like it was such a supportive environment and carried me through training, and here I am today as a returned volunteer.
My name is Scott Phillips, and I live in Carrboro, North Carolina. I served in Kherson, Ukraine from 03 to 05. So I worked at the Children's Library for the region, for Khersonskaya region, and the person that came in to serve as my second kind of in the foreign language department that I helped create through Democracy Grant, etc. She just recently went to Puerto Rico for an international library conference that she was invited because of some of the work she's been doing at the library in Ukraine. And she's also been given a full scholarship to go get her master's in library science as well. So I'm very happy that, you know, I had a small role to play in that. So it's good to see the sustainability of the project even, you know, 5-6 years after I've gone.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Jennifer Phillips, and I live in Carrboro, North Carolina. When I served in the Peace Corps, my name was Jennifer Nader, and I served in Ukraine. Okay, so I served from 2003 to 2005, and I lived in Kherson.
Okay.
Well, I think the biggest thing that I remember about my Peace Corps service was where I worked. So I worked for an organization called Successful Woman, and I think that what really was really a memorable moment for me was I was a NGO business facilitator, and one of the things that I was helping them with was their accounting. and looking at how they should be more transparent in the way that they represented their accounting for the nonprofit. And there were a lot of issues about how the tax system impacted on the incentive for nonprofits to be very clear about where all their money was going. And I was feeling very frustrated one day, and trying to think about how I was going to be able to communicate the importance of this issue. And I remember my counterpart sitting down with me and telling me this very long story about how Ukraine was like a cooking pot, and that for the last 70 years there'd been a lid on the cooking pot, and so everything kind of was developing in a very isolated way within the country because they were only being exposed to other Soviet ideas and so forth, and that the lid of the cooking pot had only come off very recently in her view, and that was one of the challenges with getting people to adapt new ideas and to take on different ways of working.
Lenore Johnson, and I was in the country of Ukraine from 2004 to 2005. I went there because my son kind of encouraged me to do that. I was retired at the time, and he said, "Mom, you really need to be doing something more interesting with your life." So I signed up for Peace Corps, and of course it takes a while to get in, but once I was there, I had a wonderful experience. I was also there when the Orange Revolution took place in Kiev, when they were protesting the fixed elections of their president. They won. They got a new election, and the Western-leaning person got elected as president. And it was a very emotional and exciting time to be there, to be in Kiev, which has wide boulevards, a beautiful, beautiful city. And the wide boulevards were filled with people from all over the country, all over the western part of the country, who were protesting during the Orange Revolution. Enjoyed my time there very much. Unfortunately, I had to leave early because of a little medical problem, but I went back the following year on my own and visited for 3 weeks, and again had just a wonderful time. So I'm glad that I'm able to have this opportunity to talk today.
My name's Lindsay Humphreys. Now it's Lindsay Chung. I actually met my husband while I was in Peace Corps. I served in Ukraine from 2004 to 2006. And one of my favorite memories of Peace Corps while I was in Ukraine was becoming friends with this college student who was originally from my town, and his name was Roma, and Roma loved everything American, and he just sought me out in town and claimed me as his friend. And he liked to always tell me about different things that he had heard or thought about America and things that way. And one day he wanted to talk about his favorite American TV show. And I said, "Okay, Roma, tell me the name of the show." He's like, "Oh, Lindsay, it's about American life, and it's just my favorite American show." And he said it's called 90,210. And I thought, well, wait, what are you talking about? And it honestly didn't click for me right away. And then I realized, oh my gosh, 90210. And it was probably one of the funniest moments ever, and I got to obviously tell him that how that show in particular would probably not be an accurate portrayal of American life. But it was great because I got to explain, what that number even meant and what it signified, and how I was from, New Hampshire, where we didn't even have palm trees, and we certainly didn't get BMWs on our birthdays or anything like that. So it was just a really great story and a memory that I'll always remember. So. I was in the small town of Trostyanets, Ukraine, and my Mama Olya, she always would cook us dinner and everything that way. And it was a single mom, so I was her cherished child during all this. And when I was at the dinner table one night, I accidentally knocked off a knife and it fell onto the ground. And it's like, oh, okay, you know, I'm sorry, I was leaning over to pick up this knife. And my mama, seeing that, jumps out of her chair and she picks up the knife and she starts, you know, rambling in Russian, you know, a mile a minute. And I couldn't catch everything because I was just starting to learn the language. And all I caught was, man, door, out of all of this Russian. I was thinking, what is she talking about? So I asked the next day at my language training class, I asked, you know, this odd thing happened last night with my mom. And he actually, my trainer, explained to me that in Ukraine, all of the silverware is denoted a certain meaning, and that it actually means something if you accidentally knock off a knife, and if a knife falls off the table, it means that a man is going to visit you later this evening, which was, then it kind of all made sense to me because it was very exciting for my host mom to have this thought that finally I'll be getting married, you know, because I was over the hill and I was 22 at the time. And so she was so excited, and the funniest thing about it all too was that that later that evening when I thought back to it, that it actually worked because our neighbor, who was a man, knocked on our door to use our phone. But of course, in Ukraine, it's really common for there to be one telephone for the entire apartment building, and my mama happened to have that phone for the building. So I don't know if it completely worked for sure, but I think if it does, it would only work in Ukraine. But in that case, it actually did. It brought a man to the door. So if only he wasn't, you know, 70.